in that era, you had to be a perfectionist. Like, you had to really study your craft and get great at it. Now it's like none of that matters. You know, he didn't force me to listen to music, but my dad was my hero. I have to play drums. Like, he's a drummer. He's like, bro, Drake? On the back end, he did a lot of post-production. He did a lot of work, which means he deserved a little more of the credit. I'm never mad at that. The melody is king.
Interesting.
And everything we do. My specialty is scoring life moments.
When you hear the term producer, a lot of you guys might picture a guy in a bedroom cooking up beats and sending emails. Our guest today is much, much more. Grammy-nominated Slimwav is a producer, multi-instrumentalist, and musical director that gets paid for his taste and his vision. Not only does he produce for a small artist you may have heard of named Black, he does all the musical direction for his arena tours. And if you've ever wondered how a Tiny Desk concert is put together, this guy's directed 4 of them, and he told us all about it. We super enjoyed this episode. I think you will too. Let's get into it.
So yeah, off camera, Slim was saying some crazy shit, like hottest take. I'm just starting us off with. He said a lot. He said a lot of artists aren't that creative. Can we just like start off by breaking that down? What did you mean by that?
Man, honestly, I've worked with a lot of people. There's a select few that are like really gems. You know, Special Black is one of them. He's super creative. But in the past, I've worked with a lot of artists, and you get to a session or you get to, you know, because I'm in the live world. You know what I mean? So I get there and it's like they have no idea what they want. You know what I mean? And it's like, no vision at all. And it's kind of hard because it's like, yo, what exactly do you want? Because I'm the type of person, like, if you say, hey, I want this song to sound like cotton candy in the middle of the ocean with a frying pan, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, I got you. I can
That's so bad.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them, they don't know. And what happens is you end up doing your thing, and they were like, yeah, no, actually, I was thinking about unicorns. And I'm like, all right. So, yeah, a lot of them aren't creative at all, but you can tell the ones that aren't creative.
Why do you think that is? Because I have a theory, but I want to hear what you think.
Because they're not artists. They're just talented.
Ooh, yeah. That's the difference.
Paradoxical as fuck. But okay, what's your theory?
I kind of just was leaning toward like how easy it is to make music now.
Oh yeah,
and how easy it is for anyone to call themselves an artist.
Absolutely.
You could go viral for something completely different, and you know you could download GarageBand and whatever, throw some auto-tune on and
just go crazy.
Tight beat, and throw, you know. But like, you know, not to take away, like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, it's saturated, so it's tough.
It gets real deep when you're talking about art, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you have obviously like surface level stuff that's just like, oh, this is popular because everybody likes it, this is viral. And then you have like deep art where you like, oh, this actually changes culture, this actually changes the mood, this changes me, you know what I mean? Like obviously Kendrick, Childish Gambino, people like that, they're true artists because they're intertwined with their music and their visuals and their art. It's like everything is just like intentional.
So we know who you have in the beef. We know who you selected to win that beef.
I can't even choose on that one because I will say, you know, the boy Drake helped my career out tremendously. So
yeah. What is the connection to Drake? What happened?
So before being a producer, I was just a musician doing content, you know, traveling with artists or whatever. And then I did this one specific piece of content, which was like a horns and a talk box version of Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Yes.
And one of my homies hit me up the next morning. Like, he was like, yo, Drake? I was like, what? He's like, bro, Drake? I was like,
Drake?
I was like, bro, this is Slim. What are you talking about? He was like, dog, Drake reposted your video. And I was like, the fact that he called me, I've never talked to him on the phone.
Oh, God.
Like, I just had his number, and I may have texted him one time years ago, but I've never changed my number. And he was like, he called me. I was like, this is not a lie. Obviously, because he has no other reason to call me. So I went and looked, and sure enough, it was there. And then my following went from like 14,000 to 30,000 in like a day.
Oh, quick
God.
2X.
We had a similar.
We made Drake's story this year.
Yeah, we made Drake's story this year, and
we got to share.
It does change shit for sure,
effect,
bro.
yeah,
The Drake effect.
I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't.
So stop putting him in the middle of Kendrick and Drake, bro. Come on.
I love bringing that up.
I will say, you know, there's a unique difference. Like, obviously, Kendrick, he's deep art. Kendrick is Drake knows the people. Obviously Kendrick does too, but I feel like there's a special craft on both sides. You know what I mean? And you have to appreciate both of them for sure.
For sure. Well, we appreciate you, Slimwav.
Slimwav.
5 times Grammy-nominated producer for some of your favorite records.
Type beat.
And multi-instrumentalist. This dude how many instruments do you play?
Come on.
You know, I was thinking about this before I came here.
To make sure you got it right on the
Make
podcast?
sure I got it right.
Okay.
I narrowed it down to 11 if you're counting different forms of the instrument.
We are.
Yeah.
So obviously playing piano and organ are two different things. However, they're the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with
But
that.
organ,
Okay. How many do you fucking play?
2. Barely.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
yeah, organ is like has foot pedals and drawbar. Like it's a specific thing. It's almost like being able to know your irons in golf. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like obviously you can honestly do a whole 18 course with a driver.
I know.
However,
I play with a buddy that does that.
However, you know, knowing how to use certain irons at certain times, you know what I mean? That's the special. That's when it gets special.
This is a crazy metaphor.
Yeah.
And we were talking about golf off camera. He really brought it full circle there.
It's going to connect with
That was
people.
impressive.
That's going to connect with people.
But yo, so fresh off tour with Black.
Yes.
How many dates was it?
It was a month, so I'm not even sure. I
Okay.
can't even calculate that up.
Is that the first time you went on tour with him?
With Black, no,
Yeah.
I've been touring with Black since 2017.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So, like, just after a tour, how do you feel? Like, are you ready to just you know, snuggle up at home and never leave the crib for like,
Or just hit the studio hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Get back to it.
That's
man.
it. That's
Yeah,
really it.
bro.
Because when you're on the road, depends on what type of tour. Like this was an opening tour. We were opening for Russ, so it was like we had a whole lot of time because we're only doing a 30-minute, 40-minute set. We come to sound check. We don't even get sound check. We didn't get one sound check the whole time. We may have gotten like maybe one.
What?
no,
Because everything is moving so fast. You get a line check where he's like, all right, can you hear? Can you hear? All right, let's go.
No sound check for the opener though? Sounds wild.
and these are what? These are
Huge
arenas
cat.
or
Arenas.
yeah, bro. What?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do, but most of the time we don't because it just depends on how late they get set up and all that stuff. So
So them running behind is your problem now.
Yeah. No, literally.
Okay, that's fucked.
But I mean, we've been doing it for
yeah.
years, so it's like we don't need a sound check to.
Yeah.
We can just literally go in as long as y'all can hear us. We fine.
Sure. Okay, but you have a lot of time on your hands.
A
Somewhat.
lot of time, but if it's like our own headlining tour, it's not as much time because you got to be there a lot longer. You got to do a lot more. But I really enjoy opening act tours because you have a lot more time and I can do whatever I want before and after the show. Like I don't have to stay to watch Russ or anybody that we're opening for. But most of the time when you're the opener, when you're the headliner, it's like you got to be around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what did you do with all the time? What'd you and Black do?
Man, I made beats. I just invested in like a little portable setup. So I'll be in my hotel room just banging it out. You know what I mean? Because tour to me is, I call it the great escape. You know what I mean? For any adult, literally, because like when you out on the road, you don't have to worry about home. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You just pay your bills, send your money or whatever. But
I love the text that's like, hey, can we do this? I'm sorry, I'm out of town.
that's literally my excuse
That's like
for
crack,
everything.
bro.
Literally
I'm out of
my
town.
excuse.
I can't do it.
Especially
That's
for
why you're
stuff-
always trying to go out of town, huh?
I'm trying to go tomorrow.
especially for stuff I didn't want to do in the first place. It was
Yeah.
like, I'm out. You know what I mean?
It's the
But-
greatest excuse.
So when I'm out on the road, it's like that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been trying to stay creative and productive while I'm out there. Just still creating and keeping that muscle going. So when I get home, I can hear my thoughts. You know what I mean?
Here's something I think that could be a good gem. What does your tour on the road setup look like? What's like a good set of? What are some essentials if we
so-
want to make music anywhere?
So I bring my M Audio MIDI board. Obviously, I love using like actual keyboards with sounds on them. You know what I mean? But I have to use that since I have a bunch of sounds on my laptop. That and I use these IK multimedia monitors. They're like small monitors. They got like Bluetooth and stuff on them, but those joints are so solid. Like especially for like hotel setups, it's not too loud. You can get loud, but it's not too loud, and they fit in a little small bag or a suitcase if you wanted to. And my interface, that's really it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't bring like a giant synth with you.
I
with
wish.
a bunch of sounds.
I wish.
Yeah.
So are you and Black making music together, or y'all kind of doing your own thing? Because obviously you have tons of placements with Black over the years. You guys have been working for a long time. But
It's so funny. Those all happened by accident.
how so? What do you mean?
I know it sounds crazy. Like the very first placement I got with Black was a Christmas album.
Okay.
And that was literally right after I got signed. It's like the Drake co-sign happened. Maybe like a month or two later, I got signed. And then they was like, hey, you want to do this Christmas album? And I was like, all right. And I thought I was going to be doing it with somebody else, like with other producers. And then it was like, yeah, it took me a week to do all of those songs. So I had to like, my turnaround had to be super fast. So I just like made the remakes, made them, and I had to like even demo them. And I demoed, you know, the song that Black has, and I sent it to him, and he cut it in like 20 minutes. And after that, it was just like a really quick process. And I thought somebody else was coming, but nobody else ended up getting on the project. So I was like, all right, cool, this is fire.
Okay.
You know, my first project. And then that's how that one happened. It was like an accident. The second one happened, I just sent a bunch of loops to this producer that was pretty much EPing his last project name, / really dope producer out of the UK or whatever.
I love that name.
/ yeah, he's fire.
It's hard.
He's fire. His brain is just wired different. And I just sent him a bunch of loops, and he randomly hit me up. He was like, yo, Black really liked this one. And I was like, I don't even think Black knew it was going to be on the, I did anything until like the project almost came out. And then this recent one that just came out, I did this camp. I can't say the camp, but I did the camp, and I was doing it with this artist, this producer named Los out of LA.
Okay.
We were just in the camp making music for this artist specifically, and that was I knew for some reason, I was like, this is not going to get placed for this project because, you know, the sonics and the sound that they're going for is completely different. So I was like, this is not, you know, it's not going to do anything here. So I just kind of threw it out of my mind. And then like maybe like a month before this song came out, which is Fuck the Rap Game.
Okay.
Black hit me. He was like, yo, you got credits on this record? And he sent me the video for it. And I was like,
No.
I was like, nah, I don't remember that one. He was like, well, Lo said you and him did it at this camp. And I was like, oh, wow. I forgot all about that because we did like 5 ideas. And I was like, oh, wait. Yeah, that does sound familiar now that I think about it. So that was how that placement came about.
That's what I love that story.
Yeah.
For so many reasons.
We've had some like different views on camps on this podcast.
It's honestly even less the camps and more just the like, you completely put that out of your mind.
Yeah.
And now it's a Black single.
Yeah.
Like,
I would have never thunking.
yeah, I mean, and that just goes to show the power of collaboration too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You made this with Los. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't forget about it, or someone on his team didn't forget about it, because someone got it to Black, obviously.
And I didn't even expect that record to be, because like that's such a chill record. Like I wouldn't expect Black to be like, yo, because the way he listens to music, he listens to a lot of unique stuff. You know what I mean? If you ever listen to his music, none of his stuff sounds like anything that's out. Not to say that this one does, but this one is a little more like center field, where it's like, oh, this feels like something. You know what I mean? Something that I've heard or familiar with. And yeah, it was real crazy how that happened, man. I was like, oh, that was real dope. You know what I mean?
So I love center field.
Yeah, so we had Junior on from LVRN,
yep,
right?
I remember seeing
that.
That.
Yeah. And so I asked him this question, and he told me I'd have to ask Black, and we haven't gotten Black on the podcast yet.
Yeah.
So maybe you could
one step closer
help
now
with that. But I'm going to ask you: is Black a rapper? Like, how does he? What does he identify as? Like,
what are his pronouns?
Yeah,
Black,
like
you're stupid.
yeah, like is rapper one of them or what?
Black is definitely a rapper. Like he loves hip hop. Like I don't know if you know of his father.
I don't.
Oh my God.
Not familiar with Mr. Black.
His father, I wouldn't even call him a rapper. His father is a lyricist. Like
poet.
Who is it?
His name is Sick Flo.
Okay.
On Instagram.
Wow.
Like he's a barist. Okay. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And I was like, oh, this is probably where Black gets it from. And then I obviously Black probably took some of that liking to when he was growing, and you know that's back when the having bars was like
the thing.
Yeah. So he's definitely a rapper, but he's also smart because he understands people love melody.
Yeah.
So when you intertwine those two, it's like you low key can't lose, which is why Drake wins.
Yeah,
for sure. So what was your role on the tour?
I'm Black's musical director.
Okay, so are you performing?
Yeah, I'm performing on stage.
Yeah, so what are you playing?
I'm playing keys and bass.
Keys and bass.
Yep.
And then musical director.
Musical director, I arrange all of the music, make it sound like movies and all that stuff.
4 shows for him.
4 shows for him.
Okay.
And a lot of other people too.
Yeah, no, I saw that term that you use, musical director, for, you know, you did the Tiny Desk with, you know, Flo Milli.
Yep.
And I was like, musical director. And I didn't
This is the guy that knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. So how drastic, because I think this is actually a good, you know, lesson for a lot of our community. It's like, how drastically are you changing the studio versions for the live show?
It depends on the artist.
Sure.
Like for Flo Milli, like I had like a whole lot of arrangements and things that, because when you do Tiny Desk, everybody knows when you do Tiny Desk, that's the time to be as creative as you can, because people will never hear that live. You know what I mean? So, but for her and a lot of artists, even like Jack Harlow, like they don't really want to hear like a lot of the extra bells and whistles and stuff. They just want like, yo, just play the record. Let's just play it how it is, you know what I mean? Which is cool. It's boring for musicians.
Are you fighting the urge to want to just add the bells and whistles?
No, not really. Because at the end of the day, I understand people are connected to their art, and they may hear it a specific way, which that's how they connect with it. And if they connect with it and they have a huge fan base, those fans connect to it just as well. You know what I mean? So I'm never, you know what I mean, but like, all right, nah, I want to do this way. You know what I mean? It's just like, it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, I'm doing a service. Like being a producer, being a musical director, being a musician, it's still a service to the artist or still a service to the people. You know what I mean?
So let's walk through, I think, because NPR got it right with Tiny Desk. I mean, holy shit, what a brand. What a legendary like bit of culture, honestly, like over the years, right? There's just been so many countless, Tiny Desks that we all have come to know and love. Like, but I don't think anyone's really ever gotten like a sneak peek or like kind of like a peek behind the curtains as to like how it all even works, right? So like Flo Milli gets teed up for her Tiny Desk. Then can you just walk us through like what happens from like the time she knows that she's going to do it to then like the time that the camera is shut off after the last fucking song is done from their performance?
I like this question.
You know what I mean? Like just literally paint the picture of like what actually goes down.
A whole lot of waiting, a whole lot of, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was low key stressful because Flo Milli's so busy, and her team, they also work with Gunna, so they're like super busy day in, day out working with them. You know
we were supposed to have Ebony on the pod for 2 years running now.
Yeah, Ebony's the go. I just know she's busy, so it's kind of like I can't really be mad because they got work. They got to do stuff. So basically, like maybe a couple of weeks before we did the performance, they was like, "Yo, let's hop on a call." You hop on a call, and they were like, "Yo, let's do this, let's do that," and we figure out set list. That's the first thing, set list.
She's like, I want to do these songs.
These songs specifically, but they didn't have that just yet. They just was like, let's just figure something out. So I kind of, I had to use a cheat code, which is my girlfriend, cause she listens to Flo Milli a lot. And I've listened to Flo Milli a lot, but I listen to so much music, you know what I mean, that I don't necessarily have a specific music that I just listen to a lot.
You also listen to it differently as someone who makes music than someone who's just a fan of music.
Absolutely.
It's a totally different ear.
And a fan of her, exactly.
Yeah. It's a different ear.
So my girl sent me like a short list of songs that like her most popular. Then I also went and did some research on her social media to see what were the trending songs, you know what I mean, that people want to hear. And after that, I came up with a set list and sent it to them. They were like, yeah, we like this. Let's change these 2 songs. I was like, all right, cool. And from there, I figured out a way to put them in order to make them make sense, whether that's keys or storyline or even just like tempos. You know what I mean? Like, okay, these 2 songs, they work well together because they're in the same tempo. So I figure out a way to transition them to where it seems seamless, almost like a DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But DJing, but musically. You know what I mean? So I'll figure out a way to transition those 2 together. And then, I'll be like, all right, well, you can do a talking point here. And after that, I'll add like little nuances in the song that accent their vocals, like breaks, stop outs, or if we're playing the same melody as what they're singing, just to really accentuate the music. Because like my whole goal as a music director is to really bring out stuff in the song that people wouldn't normally listen to because they're just listening to the music, the vocals.
You're turning a passive listener into an active listener.
Literally.
Like, oh shit.
Literally.
He's creating moments.
Literally.
It's my favorite.
Shit, dude, we talk about this.
My favorite term.
It's like if we could point to anything in all of the songs that we know and love, it's that they have these moments.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's just
very special moments.
Yeah, very special moments that like are, accented to your point. Like they're highlighted in some way.
They're easy to talk about. They're easy to remember.
Consume.
Like share. Yeah. Well, it makes you like, huh?
Yeah.
What was that? It makes you rewind it. Turn that shit back. Like, let me see that again.
My cheat code, if you will, is figuring out nuances of people's everyday lives that they didn't know they're used to hearing, and adding it into the song to make it more of like an immersive feeling. Like
an example, give us an
example would be like, for instance, there was this one part on her she ended up cutting it, and I was so sad, 'cause I was like, damn, that would have been so fire. But there was this one part where she was like, straight out of Mobile, hold, just relax. And on that part, I had a guitar player play Sweet Home Alabama.
Shit.
And she was like, I'm not sure, she may be too young, but I'm not sure if she knew
the cultural significance.
How important that was.
That would have been so crazy. Like, people would have been like, oh my God. And that's not Sweet Home Alabama.
That's literally
that's Walk This Way.
Yeah. Bam, 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 bam.
Talking about the guitar part though.
Walk This Way. That's Walk This Way.
Sweet.
Sweet Home
Someone check us in the
comment below.
comments,
Sweet Home
bro.
Alabama is
Yo, editor, can you?
Oh yeah.
Dude, don't try Slim Wave.
Why would I
bro.
ever be right in that situation?
Literally, he's the music director, and he thought of this idea, and you're like, "Nah, bro, this is how it goes." Sit down, Henry.
I don't think she.
I am sitting.
Okay,
I don't
stay
think she knew
seated.
it. Like, I don't think she knew it, so she cut it because she didn't. I guess she didn't understand it. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair, because it would have thrown her off. But that was one of the ones I was like, that would have been special to have, because that would have been something that connected you with your fans and family back home, and also connected you to a whole nother demographic that probably don't listen to your music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then do you have to play her then? So you come up with the set list based on their initial feedback.
Yeah.
You start to think about these moments that you can create to like highlight the music. Then do you like record a demo for her?
I recorded a demo. I just strip all of the music and just use their vocals and like play it live and just send them like an idea of what it, for Tiny Desk at least.
Sure.
But for anything else, I would just keep like most of the stuff in there and just add like some, little bells and whistles and stuff that are reminiscent of live music. And, because you kind of got, once again, a lot of artists, not to say Flo Milli is not, but a lot of artists, and people in general, they don't have the vision. So I can tell you, I can tell you this idea in my mind, but you're not going to understand it until I just put it on wax for you and, show you a demo. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of them are. So I have to do that or they're not going to understand.
Yeah. So then, okay. So you have the demo. Then are there rehearsals? Kind of like what happens after that?
Yeah, we did a couple rehearsals. We did 2 rehearsals in Atlanta, and then we did 1 in DC. She came to one of them. We was a little afraid because like she was only able to come to one because she had so many shows going on. So we did one, and then we did a run through the day of, and we was like, I hope this goes well.
You rehearsal without the artist. You have to, because sometimes.
Literally. That's why it's important to keep stuff for people like that. It's important to keep it simple. You know what I mean? So it doesn't, throw her off.
Yeah. Well, because it comes back to like her schedule. Literally. She just can't make the rehearsals.
But if she was able to make all the rehearsals, then I'm sure a lot of the stuff would have been gravy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dang. Okay. So then we've done the rehearsals. And so is Tiny Desk filmed in DC?
It's filmed in DC at NPR.
NPR is like main location, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what? It's like, it's go time. We got the like scheduled date.
So the process for that is like you get there early in the morning, you get set up, you do a run through from like 12 to 1. And then after the run through, you take a break and then you come back and do it one time, one take Jake, and that's it. Some people get the privilege of like, can I do this over? Can I do this? Flo definitely was like, I want to do this talking point over because I just didn't feel like I, articulated myself properly. So she definitely got to do that over. But most of the time, like the other times I've done it, is like one take Jake.
So which other ones have you done?
I've done Summer Walkers. I've done West Side Boogie.
Yeah.
I've done Drums. Drums was a at home one.
Was it COVID?
Yeah, COVID.
Oh, God.
And
Classic.
I count that one, but it almost feels like the bubble. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The NBA bubble is like, if you win the championship in the bubble,
they
like,
won.
Does it count?
It's got an asterisk.
Yeah, low key. So, but I still count it. It's a ring for me.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, I'm fascinated by Tiny Desk in general.
Yeah.
And so, for me, that was just something I definitely wanted to cover because I don't feel like I had any idea like how it works. And so then, so it's one take Jake and then just comes out and
they don't even tell you when it comes out.
No.
Like I asked one of the producers, well, she had hit me up. She's like, the day before, she's like, yo, this joint is so fire. Like y'all sounded so good. And I was like, oh, really? Because we was nervous. We Well, you know how it's gonna turn out because you kind of can't hear while you're there because you got to play so low so that you can hear the artist.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
all right. So then, yeah, obviously you play like 11 instruments. So as a producer, how much of an advantage do you feel like you have over producers who don't play instruments?
I have an advantage, but I have a disadvantage.
Why? Okay, so why is it an advantage to play multiple instruments, and then why is it a disadvantage?
It's an advantage to play most instruments because I understand how every instrument is supposed to work, how everything works, how everything's supposed to just happen. You know what I mean? What instruments are good for certain songs, what instruments aren't good for certain songs. It's a disadvantage because I have so much knowledge. Sometimes it cripples me into overthinking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, do I use my 7 or my 8 iron? Bringing it back to golf. Do I use my 7 or my 8 iron? Like, honestly, I can smack my 8 iron 130. But at the same token, it just feels better to hit a 7 because I know I might get a little closer to the pin. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of them things. It's like, at your discretion, bro. Like, honestly, it literally is. It's like, you gotta fill it out. And a lot of things that producers that don't play instruments they have that feeling of no technicality. You know what I mean? When you're new to something and you're green to it, you're the most vulnerable. You're at the most, open state of it because like you can just do it and not care about mistakes. Like I'm thinking of like, okay, if I do this is going to be a mistake. If I do that, this is going to be a mistake. Which, I've kind of like come back from that and not cared as much. But at the same token, you know what I mean? It's one of them things.
If you know the rules, you're less likely to try and bend them, break them, etc.
But ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, it's easier to break them when you don't know them.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of
it goes back to the Mexico Joe clip, dude.
I know.
It's like I don't know what A, B, C, D. He literally said
I don't know
about,
nothing about no keys.
And
I just said sounds good.
And that's why the biggest songs are viral right now. Like even on TikTok, people can hate on TikTok, but the reality of it is like these people are just coming into music. They have no information or no like anything on.
They have no preconceived notions.
They just know feelings for the moment. And if the feeling for the moment is like, I want to get drunk and drive, there's so many people that identify with that. And then it goes viral because opposed to someone that's like trying to figure out how to poetically say, I've been drinking and driving like
Till the guy just fucking says it.
Yeah. No, literally.
How much overthinking do you think it's an interesting question. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without sounding bizarre, but how much overthinking exists within the music industry in general?
Man, it just depends on the person.
I feel like every fucking creative that I know and talk to is just in their own head, bro.
Literally.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe, to your point, some of these like green, younger, just fresh to it and excited about it and don't give a fuck because they just do it.
Just do it.
But anyone that's been doing it for like any amount of time is so just in their own head.
Literally. Because you feel like you don't have a lot of room to make error.
Yeah. And it's also a very like egocentric industry. Absolutely. Obviously, like we're putting art out there. Yeah. People are gonna judge it.
That's that whole thing in itself is a mind bend because it's like there's a sweet line between newer artists and artists that grew up on specific artists. Like obviously, I was the one that grew up listening to like the Princes and the Michael Jacksons and the the Kendricks and the Lauryn Hills and the anybody.
Yeah.
And in that era, you had to be a perfectionist. Like you had to really study your craft and get great at it. Opposed to now is like none of that matters.
Yeah. It used to cost $100,000 to make an album.
Literally. Now none of that matters. It is like, how can you connect with people around you and how can you relate to people around you?
Do you think it's good, bad, and different?
It's both.
Both.
It's both. It's bad because it hurts the music community and it creates a extremely low bar for the entry of music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's good because it gets people that were above that bar to come down and get out of their feelings and just make regular music for people.
Yeah.
So if I'm a producer and I want to learn how to play an instrument, what's like the first one that I should learn?
Keys.
Easily keys, bro.
What? I guess it sounds easy, but I'm like a kindergartner in this case. Why should it?
It translates. You can, you can pull up a plugin and get any other instrument if you know your chord. It's easy to learn chords and stuff too and visualize them.
Yeah, outside of country music or rock, those are the only two genres. I could be wrong, but those are the main two genres that really use
guitar heavy.
Yeah. But every other genre, whether it's gospel, blues,
Hip hop, even
hip hop, R&B.
Yeah.
They use melodic notes from keyboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for you, when did you first pick up an instrument? Like, how old were you?
I was young. My dad was a drummer in a jazz band.
Okay.
And he had some drums, and then one day he was doing some work on this lady's house, and she was like, "Hey, I got like these instruments. I just divorced my husband or something like that, and you want them?" He was like, "Yeah." So it was like a Fender guitar, a bass, and keyboard and stuff. So he brought it home, and he was like, "Yo." He didn't force me to listen to music, but my dad was my hero. I have to play drums. Like, he's a drummer. So I was trying to figure it out, and it was just naturally a natural gift. So from there, I just kind of gravitated from instrument to instrument. Then once I got to high school, I picked up horns and all that stuff. So
yeah, no, I just love the content. We were talking about it off camera. Like, he makes, y'all go check out Slimwav content, because literally, since he does play so many instruments, he does this content where like he edits himself.
Brady Bunch style.
Yeah, the Brady Bunch style, where it's him playing every single instrument, like 5+ instruments in this piece of content.
I don't know why I stopped doing that.
And that,
I love your content, bro. Please make more.
Yeah, that was how the Drake thing happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was from a piece of content, obviously.
Yep.
So like, guys,
Yeah.
Drake ain't finding you making the fucking music in your bedroom and not posting about it. So like,
nobody is going to send a SWAT team to your house to pull music off your hard drive.
Right, right.
So are there any other stories about how like, posting a piece of content showing your like music abilities led to maybe like awareness or something?
So I have 2 stamps on my page. One is the Drake thing. I'll never take that down.
Yeah.
And the other one is the very first clip where it's like I create a band called Waverly.
Okay.
And Waverly is like, I was just in my studio making like these like retro sounding samples. You know what I mean? Where it's a bunch of me's in the place, and it just looks like a band.
Yeah.
So I posted that. And, I was like, this is me trying to be more consistent. And I started posting that. I only did like 5 of these videos, 5 or 6. So I posted that maybe by the 4th. That was like the 3rd or the 4th one. And I was just like, all right, I'm just keep posting, something's going to happen. Something cool is going to happen. So around that time, I get a call from London, my boy London on the track. Cause I was already working with him on the Diddy stuff. He's like, yo, man, I'm about to fly to New York to do this Mary J camp. Or this Mary J session. I was like, yeah, I'm down. Like, let's do it. So we get there, and we're just going through beats, and she's not really liking a lot of the new stuff, because she's like, no, like my fans, they want retro Mary. They want Mary. I can't do like the new sound. Like, I understand the sound and I love it, but my fans want the old stuff. So I was like, yo, I had text London on. So I was like, yo, man, I got like these old sounding samples like that sound retro. That sound like some, and he's like, man, just send them to me. So he clicks on the first one and it starts playing. She's like, oh, I like that one. What's that one? And I was like, oh, shoot. So, like, this story is actually insane. Like, she's like, I like this one. Like, so her and Jazzy immediately, it was like, pull this up. Let's start working on this one. So they pull it up, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, this is cool. This is happening. So I step out on like a little break, and I pull up my phone, and I was like, why is my TikTok going so crazy? Like, this is my first time having any type of action or motion on TikTok. I'm like, why is my TikTok going crazy? And then I open it up, and it's the video of that song that they were in there recording.
They shot a video of it.
No. So the thing was like a little 30-second clip, and
it just randomly started taking off.
It randomly started taking off, and it really threw me off, because I was like, the timing, like they're in there recording to this right now.
Yeah.
Real old sounding sample. So as they're in there recording to it, I step out, and on TikTok, this video is going up. And I'm like,
how old had it, or like, how long before had you posted it?
It was a week. It was only posted for like a week.
It does that sometimes. We had that.
And
Some late pop-offs.
It was so random. It was so random, because like the first 2 days, 0.
The TikTok gods
New Mary.
Mary and Jazzy.
Wait, Mary likes it? Like, it's fucking, dude, China's crazy.
And how I found out I got the placement was even wilder, because I was like, my girl was like, yo, this is like a good start. You need to capitalize on this. Like, capitalize on this. So we did the session, and then like a week later, I was like, all right, I'm setting up. Because, your stuff just never comes out sometimes. You could be waiting for years. So I was like, all right, well, I'm about to upload this instrumental. You know what I mean? Because people's like, where's the instrumental? Where's the instrumental? So I started to upload the instrumental, and I started to promote it on TikTok. And then one of Mary's people reached out to me. He was like, yo.
They didn't like that.
They was like, yo, take this down.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? They was like, Mary's going to use this on her project. I was like, well, that's a great way to know you got a
You could have let me know. Yeah, I mean.
That's a great way to know you got a placement. But it was like, all right, cool. So I took it down, and that was the story.
That's
of that
amazing, man. So is this girl? Are you still with this girl? This is the same girl that did the Flo Milli A&R research, and then
she actually was the one.
She's the one.
Dude,
No, literally, I never
get down on one knee tonight, bro.
I never second guessed that. She was also the one that told me to do the Drake song.
No,
Wow.
bro.
Very coincidental.
Dude, she's a fucking keeper, bro.
No, very coincidental. Like the day the Drake song came out, she's like, I think this would be really dope if you did it on horns. I was like, and normally me, I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, you're not gonna do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to do it right now, because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop not listening to you.
Oh my
So
god.
I was like, I did it the next morning and just posted it. And she was like, see?
Yeah, as if you already shouldn't listen to your girl, just for other reasons.
Actually,
this sounds like career advice.
Her receipts are heavy.
That's crazy, man. So I just wanted to touch on something you mentioned there about how Mary really wanted to make music in the lane that like she knew her fans would appreciate.
Yeah.
That's it's
a big one.
It's an interesting thing, right?
I'm an artist.
It doesn't work for everybody though.
Yeah. So like, how do you feel about that? How should artists approach that, right? Because in my mind, there's kind of two options. One is that, honestly, your fan base isn't really letting you evolve if you kind of take that approach.
Never. And I think, yeah, they don't let you evolve a lot. They don't let you evolve, but they do. But I feel like your evolution has to come years down the line. For instance, like you have to give them a bunch of what they already love
first.
You.
Yeah.
First, before you try to switch into a whole nother lane. Like obviously Childish Gambino was giving people what they wanted for so long. So he was like, all right, now I'm gonna do the left to center stuff that I really love. Mm-hmm. And then that's when he had evolved to a whole new person. You know what I mean?
Did Mary not give them enough for fucking decades?
She did, but I feel like her audience being that they're a little older, there's no evolution. There's in that world maybe, because she was honestly heavy hip hop, R&B, hood queen.
Yeah.
But as she evolved, it became more melodic. Like that's when she started working with Brian Michael Cox, and that shifted her whole world. But
yeah, it's definitely tough for legacy acts at that point, right? Who have a really like strong fan base from like a long time ago at that point.
Yep.
I hate to interrupt this episode, but guys, I got one thing on the mind right now, and it's data. I can't stop thinking about it. All the artists in 2024 are winning because of data. They know who their fans are. They have access to their fans. Do you? Spotify's not telling you who your fans are. Apple Music ain't telling you who your fans are. But our friends over at DistroKid created a feature called Hyperfollow. Every single release, you can set up a pre-save campaign with a hyperfollow and get access to every single fan's email address. Now you can let them know when you have a show coming up, when you're dropping exclusive merch, when you're going live. And without the data, you're just bound by the algorithms of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. No more relying on those platforms. We're going straight to our fans. DistroKid is the best DIY distributor. You can upload unlimited music for a ridiculously low rate. And you're gonna have access to features like Hyperfollow. OMTdistro.com, you're gonna get 30% off when you sign up for DistroKid, and you can start collecting your fans' data today. Henry, let's get back into it. So yeah, you mentioned that you've done musical direction, not just for the Tiny Desk, but also just for like live shows. Yeah. Are you embracing any of that type of shit where it's like if you're in Detroit, you're gonna do a certain thing, or New York, or you know what I mean? Like, no, it's like, how do you approach musical direction just for like a tour or like a live show that's not a Tiny Desk?
I get real deep into details, like where's the artist from? What do their audience look like? What type of music does their audience listen to? Can I find any interviews where I can use vocal clips from what they're talking about? What does the artist embody? Because all of these things are going to make it more of an immersive feeling for that song. You know,
we're going to send him the audio for this podcast after this.
Right?
Yeah.
Just in case.
Right. So it's like, it just depends. All of those things matter, man. And most musicians, they just go into them like, all right, let's just do some musical stuff. Let's do some, cool hits and whatever. But I'm more like, I got to get deep into it because I want to make this more so not just like musical direction, but scoring the film for someone's show. You know what I mean?
No, it's so interesting. Yeah. So we talked with Junior about how like, LVRN are the goats of storytelling, right? So their artists do it, them as a label, management, publishing company, they do it. So did you go on the Since I Have a Lover tour with Black as well?
Yep.
Okay. And so did you do the musical direction for that? And so Junior talked about how they like to try and bring the album to life in the live show.
Yep.
What are there any examples of how that was done with, let's just take the Since I Have a Lover tour as an example, like, you know, based on the project, what did we do within the live show, both like musically and then maybe like creatively, like visually, you know what I mean? Like, how did they bring it to life?
We brought it to life because like certain sounds and certain sonics make for, like I said, that immersive feeling. When you have trees on the stage, things are very reminiscent of the project artwork, things that are really like, for instance, we were in like these lawn suits. Like the band, we were like in these lawn suits that had like Black on the back and 6 on the front or something like that, which kind of alluded to the fact that we were like in the scene of the artwork, which was like a very, you know, earthy purple and stuff like that. So it's like just creating all of those nuances that put people in a world that allows you to receive the music different from when you're just listening to it in your headphones in your own room. Yeah, for sure. What about any of the, I guess like musical, you know, selections? Like how did you kind of impact the music of the show? Sonics, and that's where the knowing what instruments and, you know, all that stuff comes into play, because it's like
because there's a live band, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you mean. Yeah, like certain songs I'm like, man, this song would be really amazing acoustic or with just, you know, with the bass or something like that. So bringing all those elements out to strip stuff down or even add to songs to really make them feel like, oh wow, I've never heard this like, but this makes me feel even more connected to it. Yeah, so which instruments to use even and how to use them. Yep. Damn. Yeah. Huge. It's deeper than y'all think, bro. No, it gets really deep. If you know what you're doing.
It sounds like he's a movie director, really. It's a lot of similarities.
I definitely want to get into scoring. I was going to say, do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's been your favorite score recently from a movie? One of my favorite scores from a movie, it would probably be, I actually got a placement in it, was They Clone Tyrone. Okay. They Clone Tyrone has a really dope score. Whoever did the actual music supervision for it, they did a really good job because they really painted these scenes with with certain music that just fit. You know what I mean? Interesting. Oh man, no, I'm like a movie, like I love movie music more than I even love like the movies. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm paying attention to that shit for sure. Do you watch Jordan Peele movies? I've seen them. Yeah. So obviously, you know, all of their movies are very eerie, very like, it makes you think like, what? But the music coincides with that. The music is like, what? Oh wow, the music is very unsettling and it's very like, what is that? You know what I mean? But it makes me understand this scene.
It reinforces the feeling that he's going for. You know?
So your loop game is obviously like extremely strong. I mean, you mentioned already a few placements where you've provided what the industry would, you know, term loops, right? You've also made content that I think is hilarious that you need to keep doing if you have time. Homeless loops. Oh yeah. I think you've titled it different things in each part, but I like homeless. No, homeless loops. Like find a home for these loops. That's actually the one I ended up on. I know. Like, all right.
It's amazing.
I'm going to keep this one. I know. It was like the first was like loops for sale. I don't know, whatever. Like
loops for sale, literally.
Yeah. But then fourth or like
so much lamer than
homeless loops is amazing.
Trial and error, bro.
Yeah, but so like what kind of percentage do you think that loop makers deserve on records? Because I feel like this is such a polarizing topic. Like loops is so crazy, bro. Like,
because 99% of the time they're not in the sessions where the song's being made, right?
And that depends on a person. If you're just some, you know, Joe Schmo just hitting people's emails, sending them 30 loops, they're gonna treat you like that.
Yeah.
But I rarely get treated like that because people know who I am, or if they call me, they're like, okay, this guy's specific. I can, you know, ask him for something. So most of the time when I do loops, they're like, yo, we're gonna treat you fair. But a lot of times, you know, you'll get certain people that are like, well, you know, you just created a loop. But in the same token, it's like, yes, I created a loop, which is the meat and potato of the song. If you just did drums on something, to me, that's not the meat and potato of the songs. You know what I mean? The melody is king.
Interesting.
And everything we do.
Yeah, it's so wild though, because we talked with
T-Ron.
And Troy Taylor.
Yeah. He just said melody is king, which is literally the words on one of our most viral clips.
For sure. That was actually a gem I got from Troy Taylor.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, so Troy Taylor talked about how, like, you know, there's clearly the difference between beat maker and producer, right? Absolutely. So do you know, the way he argued it is that like if you're not in the session, you're not the producer. He kind of basically said that. He's like,
that is true, but still in that world, a lot of producers that are in the session aren't producing.
You know what do you mean?
So if I send a beat, if I send a loop to someone and they put drums on it and they're just in the session while the artist is recording, they didn't really produce.
Yeah.
You know
no
what
direction,
I mean?
no help.
No, like, but if, for instance, Los, this is a perfect example. Los, I played, with him in the session. I played like the loop, whatever, we made it together. But on the back end, he did a lot of post-production. He did a lot of work, which means he deserved a little more of the credit. I'm never mad at that. So that to me is producing. Like, he took what the little small idea we did and he embellished it so much to where it's like, oh, this sounds, even bigger than what we did.
Yeah, but what do you think? Like, how much do you think that they're like being in the session because of the relationship side of things? Like, how much does that count for?
I knew the artist. I got it played.
You know what I mean? Like, who cares if you just did the drums?
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that too, which is, like, it's technically is fair, but in the end, it's like, if you're a producer that doesn't have any work, it's like, you can't argue with that. Like, I can argue a little bit, but even in my argument, it doesn't matter to me because I'm like, okay, this is a layup. Like, you don't win a game off of one layup. You know what I mean? It takes a bunch of layups to really win the game, and nobody's ever just become successful like, oh, I just did music today and I made a hit tomorrow and this just changed my life, which is possible from social media, but it's out of sight, out of mind. So it's like, I'll just work until it comes. Something comes, and then the more things by the end of the year, I'm like, oh, wow, this looks good. You know what I mean?
It's very crazy,
key,
man.
I think it's key what you said earlier too about like you were treated different because you had this brand, you had posted content, you have people following you, whatever, you have an engagement. Like, as much as people would love to be able to win without any type of like resume on social media, he's literally being treated differently because people can see who he is.
Yeah.
That's the importance of a personal brand.
And he's doing things that they also value outside of just loops. The artists are coming to, either labels / artists are coming to you for this musical direction side of things. So that almost just tips me off of like, let's get in another bag. Like, let's showcase our creativity in another way that other people find valuable, so that we're not just this loop maker behind a Instagram and email account.
Exactly.
No one knows what you look like. No one knows what other things you have to bring to the table. Like, all you're doing is sending emails with fucking wave files of loops, which like we appreciate it. Don't get me wrong.
That's also why I don't like sending beat packs as much. I do it because I'm like, okay, something can happen from it, but there's no greater feeling of being in that session and playing the loop pack. Like, sending the loop pack is like, all right, cool. But when you're in there playing them, they hear it different. I don't know what it is.
And you can see the reactions.
You can see their reaction because it's like, if I send you something and you just listen to your phone, you're like, oh, this is cool. But it's been plenty of times where I like send something to somebody and then like just out of sheer curiosity, like when I'm around them, we'll play it on speakers and then like, oh, what's this?
What is your like? How are you like when they're playing? Like,
what
how
do you do?
Yeah.
What do you literally? What do you physically do?
Like,
if I'm listening to someone else's music.
No, you're
loops. Playing a loop.
Your own loops.
What do you look like when you're playing? Like, I'm the artist. All right, no, hold on. I love this example. I'm the hottest rapper in Atlanta.
He loves this.
All right, you pulled up to my session.
Yeah.
Because you want to placement with me, obviously.
I'm the producer. And you got loops.
I didn't give you that.
I gave it to me.
Okay, fine. You're the producer. You're playing the loop.
I brought in Slimwav.
Yeah, he brought you in.
This guy's got fire loops.
He's got the best loops in the fucking game, bro. You click play. What are you doing? What do you physically look like?
I know it may sound a little cocky, but I'm completely still.
Really?
I'm completely still. I've been in sessions where like producers, they're trying to sell it to you, and a lot of people are dumb.
They oversell it.
They oversell it, like they're like. And I'm just, you know what I mean? It's so annoying because like they're trying to sell it to you, and a lot of times that work because, like I said, people aren't creative. They just know they're being controlled. You know what I mean?
I feel you also want to like believe that your producer believes in what they're making too. It's like a line.
No, I believe in it that much that I know if you don't like it, somebody's gonna take it.
Word.
So most of the time, I'm just still like. All right, next.
Scratching.
All right, next. Like, no matter what, these records are going outside, whether it's you or not. You know what I mean? And I would hate for it to be a situation where we're like, oh, I passed up on that beat, and then somebody else takes it. And it's like, I've been longing for that moment where someone passed up on the beat and I sent it to somebody else. But at the same token, it's like everything's not gonna be for everybody. Everybody's not in the same state of mind when it comes to music.
Yeah, what's your ideal studio session like? You know what I mean? Like, are you cooking up? Are you just playing shit you've already made specifically for an artist? Are you going through random shit? Are you talking? Like, what do you like?
Just your personal
I
favorite.
hate playing stuff that I already made. I like making new stuff on the spot because I'm also like a person like, what do you feel like today? You know what I mean? Like, obviously I can play beats that you may identify with and like, oh, this is cool, but my specialty is scoring life moments. So if I play you a beat that I did like 2 weeks ago and it was just like on some hip hop or some R&B, like some dark stuff, you may not be in that vibe. So when I start this session, I'm like, yo, what's been going on in life? How you been? You know, they don't know I'm like interviewing them to figure out how I'm going to make this beat. So as soon as they're telling me like, man, I've been in a really like weird space. As soon as I hear weird, I hear the a chord that is I call it a question chord. And I automatically like any word that you say has a chord. So if you said, man, I've been feeling really sad and going in minor. I've been feeling really happy. Yeah, I've been feeling really like odd lately, or I've been trying to figure stuff out. There's a chord for everything. Literally.
Can you list the chords off right now?
No, I can't.
Okay. I was going to say, this would be a cool, like.
I can only like play it in the moment. Like,
okay.
So like.
That's such a gem.
That's more important than being able to list it.
That allows me to get a better chance at a placement though. Cause it's like, at least I know if you're connected right here in this moment, you're going to connect so deep that you're going to write the best song you can because you're here in the moment. You know what I mean?
You're going to give a better performance too.
Give a better performance opposed to me just dropping a beat on you. Like, all right, I'm just going to put some crap down.
Bro, that just comes back to the human element of music.
Yeah,
We're
man.
fucking humans, bro.
We've strayed so far away from it.
The creators are humans. The people making the shit are humans that are having bad days, good days, confusing days, sad days, whatever. And then us as the listeners also are humans, right? We don't always want to be fucking happy.
Literally.
We don't always want to be piped up, turned up, going to the club.
Coding, computed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. No, I think that is a fucking cheat code, bro. Cheat code wave.
Cheat code wave. That's
Damn. Cheat code wave. Yeah. We've entered a final segment of the podcast. I love how he said cheat code a few times throughout the interview, and then I just put 2 and 2 together that that's your...
It's a branding exercise.
He's so fucking calculated, bro.
Working on
this
that.
dude knows what he's doing.
You gotta do some content with that.
Yes, yes.
Well, we'll see how he does on the rapid fire rampage.
Yeah. Let's see if he's got the cheat code to this.
Let's see. There's no blueprint been made for it yet. There's 3 sections. We're just going to start with some short answer questions. Let's get into it. Starting with, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate Ben as an interviewer and be honest.
10.
Let's go.
All right.
10 for sure. Very fluent. Never a dead space. Everything's cool.
Yeah, no.
Come on, bro.
I'll give you that.
Let's go.
Good shit, brother.
200 plus episodes. I gotta be. I should have quit if I couldn't at least get like a 7. Like, If you said anything less than 7, this would be the last episode.
8 was my bar to not fire you.
I was giving me a 7, but
Wave. Can I call you Wave?
Yeah.
Everyone calls you Slim. I don't call you Wave. Yeah. What are 3 easy things that producers could start doing tomorrow to make better music?
Listen to some of the greats. Number 1. Number 2, practice learning a instrument. It doesn't matter what instrument. And number 3, being open to different genres.
That's big.
That's huge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's so big. I
say that because growing up in church, like when you grew up in church, like back in the 90s or whatever, you play literally every genre of music. Now today we're doing more like CCM soft rock stuff in church, but literally we played funk, we played jazz, we played salsa, we played polka, we played all of these things. We played country in church, like everything, literally.
Yeah.
So that's also a cheat code.
Your church sounds lit.
No, this was literally all churches across the board. Literally.
I wasn't.
A lot of our guests have come up in the church, started playing music in church.
Is where all stars are born. I'm not even gonna lie, bro.
But that's why the music is so cold now, because nobody's going to church.
Damn.
Okay, we're
There's
not gonna.
a hot take.
That's such a hot take. I love
We'll
it.
do a part 2.
Yeah.
What is one of the weirdest inspirations you've had for a beat or a song? Random something.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest beats or inspirations I've had for a song.
Something where you're like, I can make this.
Man, I don't know. That's a crazy one. I'm you know what I mean? When it comes to music, bro, I'm a nerd. So like I'll hear a hum and be like, oh, I hear that. That sounds like this. So this makes me feel like that. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be anything.
It's the smallest things for him.
A hum,
so small as a hum.
Yeah, interesting. What's a conspiracy theory you secretly believe in?
A conspiracy theory I secretly believe in is that the NBA is scripted.
Ooh.
That's non-related to music.
Well,
I think all professional sports borderline. There's a chance.
Bronny just ended up on the Lakers. That's crazy.
Yeah. Or how they threw game 3 of the finals. Because I'm like,
Well, you know, it is a fact is that they make more money when there's more games. So, I'm just throwing that. I'm not saying anything else is true,
hey,
but
you
that
said
part
it.
is true.
You said it, not me.
That's just a fact. I didn't say it was, scripted. But anyway, well, we'll move on. Who are 3 unexpected artists in your rotation right now?
Don Toliver.
Yes, love the new album.
The new album is
so
insane.
good, bro.
He's so good at melody. He's so good at, even though all of the beats are similar, like I listen to him with a different set of ears, each one of them.
He's a master at that sound.
Yeah, legit. Don Toliver is one.
You know how excited I am for that.
I know he loves Don too, bro. It's like,
Bossa Nova. I listen to a lot of Bossa Nova music.
Ooh, who's
A
an
lot.
artist that we should check
I
out?
don't really know too many artists from Bossa Nova. I just have a playlist of, you know what I mean? Because I don't really speak the language, so
Right.
I just listen to it literally every day. It's very calming. It's just like very smooth jazz, melodic, but in a Latin feel.
cool.
But
Okay.
I will say, if you ever decide to listen to it, it's very calming. Like if you ever like stressed or anything, listen to some bossa, like it'll cool you out.
Do you have your own playlist that you made, or is
Yeah.
it? Oh,
All
can you
my
share?
playlist.
You might.
Yeah, I
you
can
want
share
to
with you.
share maybe?
Yeah, well, let's get
I'm
that.
just saying, I mean, at least maybe a few tracks.
Number 3? You have one more?
Number 3 would be
Anything on the other side of the spectrum? Like if you're going to work out or you want to get hype or?
the Electric Light Orchestra.
Yes, totally.
Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of stuff, but Phil Collins is one of my favorite artists as well. So
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Phil.
That drum set. I want that
Man,
drum set.
And all of the Disney stuff, he was a goat.
Oh, so yeah, he
That's a
loves
bag.
scores, bro.
That's a bag, too.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Okay, you have been hired to direct a live performance segment with an unlimited budget. What does it look like?
Oh, I'm going crazy.
Let's get some
I'm-
quick little details.
I'm getting a full orchestra. 'Cause I played an orchestra in high school. I think it was like third chair on the second or third chair euphonium, which is like a baby tuba. And I just love that world, which kind of really opened my mind to the orchestral world of music. You know what I mean? Which I think that's where I adopt a lot of my film scoring from when it comes to trying to score or arrange people's shows. I always like to bring the cinematic to our world.
Yeah. So you're just getting all the best musicians, full orchestra
Literally.
together.
It's probably not that far fetched, bro. Like I could imagine you doing that for summer or something.
Atlanta
Yeah.
Symphony.
Have they
or
done it?
whatever.
I don't know. I just feel like
No, for sure. I'm definitely planning on doing that for Black whenever he does a Tiny Desk.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there. We already kind of talked about it. Like, yeah, we got to start working on it because I want this one to be the best one because I actually have time now to really sit and put all my thoughts together.
what's your favorite Tiny Desk that you didn't musically direct?
That I didn't musically direct.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We
Man,
had a draft.
It probably got to be between these 3: Mac Miller,
Yep.
Tyler the Creator, or Snow Allegra.
Snow Allegra.
Snow
is an
Allegra,
interesting
that's
one.
a
Yeah.
low key one.
My homies was playing that one, but it just was beautiful. And Ty Trebez. You may not listen to a lot of gospel, but Ty Trebez, like I grew up listening to a lot of his stuff. So that was real unique to hear on the Tiny Desk.
Hell yeah.
Dope. We haven't had a good answer to this one yet, but I'm thinking that we might get one right now. If animals could talk, which one would be the biggest asshole?
It would definitely be something like a hippo or
Bro, I was just thinking hippo, swear to God, bro.
or a sloth.
Ooh.
And I
'Cause they're
say
just-
sloth, they're
They're just
like
trying to
chill.
sleep. They're like,
bro,
get the fuck
bro,
away
off,
from me, bro.
bro.
I got time for this. I'm tired.
Yeah, like
I swear, right before you said hippo, because he's asked this question at least like maybe 2 times outside of this.
hippos, they just look angry at everything.
They are.
mad,
I think they
bro.
actually are too.
Really?
They're very aggressive and mean, like in the wild. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's actually a great answer. I'm bringing this segment back just because I think this is the perfect guest for Ideal Audio. Ben, we are going
God.
to craft the perfect. Should we do song or album?
Just song. Come on.
One song.
Keep it chill, bro.
Any artists alive or dead? Any producers alive or dead? Anyone else you want? Instrumentalist, engineer, whoever you want, you could put together to create the perfect song. Who would you bring together?
I would bring together Michael Jackson, Tame Impala. Michael Jackson, Tame Impala, and probably somebody left field like Kanye West.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Mike Jack, Tame, and Kanye.
Come on, bro. With Ye, a little sprinkle of Ye on top.
You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
A little sprinkle of yay is wild.
Final one of the short answer. What is your favorite curse word?
Definitely type shit.
Specifically type shit.
Yeah, that's a whole cuss word. Like even the type is
the whole phrase is one.
sure.
No, I love that. For sure. Moving on to part 2. This is the this or that. I'm going to give you 2 choices. You just have to pick one. Starting with producing or directing.
producing.
Smooth melodies or thumping bass.
Smooth melodies.
Piano or guitar.
Depends. Each one, I know this. I'm supposed to do one or other, but each one evokes a different emotion, and
That's why we ask the tough questions around here.
Okay.
You have to get rid of one forever. How about that?
Oh my God!
to
You just made it worse. He
If I had
already
to-
was.
I had to go there.
He was struggling with the decision, and you now are making him literally.
I'm cutting your mic off if you.
easily piano. I'll get rid of guitar.
Okay, good. Good answer. AI generated voice or talkbox?
Talkbox.
I love the
an
talk
interesting
box,
one.
dude.
We could
I'm
have-
a sucker for a talk
We
box.
all love the
dude.
talk box.
It can get annoying if you listen to it a lot. A lot of people don't like to listen to a whole lot of talkbox. So AI generated would be obviously a consumer thing, but for me, talkbox.
Boom bap drums or trap drums?
Boom bap.
Join me in the studio or send me a pack?
Join you in the studio.
But like this is you want to be like this is now I now have like production in your session too. Like do you like to
I
be the
don't
guy? You know what I mean?
I don't mind. I'm a very collaborative person. Like it's
Cool.
if you know what you're doing. If you
Right.
don't know what you're doing and we're just in a session and it's like I'm carrying. So it's like I could have sent you a beat pack for that.
Right. Got you. Okay. Day session or night session?
Day session.
Party anthem or introspective ballad?
Party anthem for sure.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
I literally was
thought
like,
the way this was going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Highly produced visuals or simple DIY fun video?
I'm an artist, creative, so highly produced visuals.
Yeah. Meditate or skydive?
I haven't been skydiving. I want to go.
So skydive.
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube?
I'm an Instagram person.
Give up snare drums or give up auto-tune?
I give up autotune.
And finally, become a full-time label executive or leave the music industry forever.
I'm gone.
I knew that was a good one.
bro, we literally plotted that one before. He was asking me, what should I give him?
Yeah, like what should he be instead of leaving the music
I
industry?
fully supported.
Even though I feel like I would be a good one, the only thing is like label executives, they're not even like doing label executive stuff these days because they're fighting algorithms, they're fighting social media. Social media is kind of taking their power a lot. But, you know, I can understand that's probably a headache. You know what I mean?
For sure.
He's empathetic, but
I still think there's
he's
a lane.
still gone.
I still think there's a lane where
He's
you're
still not
like
doing it.
where you're like the networker, like the director of your like the dot connector. There could be a lane
The dot
somewhere,
connector.
you know
People
what I
used to
mean?
have it in their bio back in the day.
They still do.
Yeah, they still
Professional
do,
dot
for
connector.
sure.
And I don't want to judge anyone that still has it in there, but
But maybe change it.
we
Yeah,
get it.
It's time.
We get it. You know people that know people.
yeah,
like
yeah,
we
You know,
understand.
It's time to give it up.
Final section is the word association. I'm going to say one word, and you just give me the first word that you think of right off the top of your head.
Okay.
As little thought as possible. Starting with music.
Music. The first thing I thought of is I do music. There used to be a little thing that happened at Apache Cafe downtown.
Yeah, Apache.
Called I Do Music. Used to be like I Do Music Mondays.
Oh,
Was that hosted by Fort Knox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
Wow. Yeah. It was
heavy, heavy.
Heavy. Dude, we should get Fort Knox on the pod. I
just love him.
For just like a 15-minute episode.
We threw that.
Like a
He was on our list at one point early on.
Yeah.
We'll bring him back.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on.
Should we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hero.
Hero the band.
Yeah.
Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
Reverb.
There's a website called Reverb that sells used
Equipment.
gear. Yep.
Yeah. .com.
.com. Reverb.com. Literally.
Snapchat.
It's filter. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Totally.
Snapchat filter.
Frog.
Frog. There's an instrument that's like it looks like a frog, and you just take a wooden stick and you go, and just literally
Wow.
Sidechain.
compression.
China.
Chinatown.
Emoji.
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 My first thought when you said that was Imogen Heap.
Oh yeah, the band. Totally.
No, she's a woman.
Oh yeah, it's one. Yeah, artist.
Yeah,
I always think
Imogen.
she's got. producers
She's
and
massive.
stuff.
She's massive. You would think she's a band.
Right. Saturation.
The color. I think of a color when you say saturation, like red and orange. And
Speaking of red, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. What's my first? Santa Claus is coming to town.
AI.
AI generated. That's
Lil
Uzi.
Slim.
Wave.
Let's go.
man.
We have had Slimwave
go, baby.
on the podcast. What a good one.
Yeah, man.
Such great insights.
I feel like I'm thinking about things differently right now.
Man.
Like, this is great.
Yeah, I loved it.
I'm glad y'all had me, man.
Yes,
It was
thank you for
amazing to be
coming
here.
on. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review, goddammit.
Please.
We are trying to get our 5-star reviews up.
We are.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it.
Do
Yeah,
it. Let's go. Let's do it. And let's get out of here.
Your brain just put both of them together. That's fire.
It's been a long day, folks. Until next time, Henry, what are we doing?
Getting out of here.
Get out of here. Peace, y'all.